the Dayton unit in AACP monthly community meeting titled, Know Your Rights When You're Stopped by the Police. We want to make sure that you are informed, educated, thereby empowered to make very conscientious decisions with your interactions with law enforcement. This evening we're going to have our own chairman, Reverend Dr. David Fox, to moderate this session. He will introduce his guests, and we're going to have a very engaging conversation because our office has a lot of complaints that come down there regarding their interactions with law enforcement, and we want to make sure that we do our due diligence by educating the community on this very important topic. Chairman Fox.
Thank you, President Ford. I'm excited tonight because I've got three great panelists. This gentleman here is Tommy Grisham. Actually, Reverend Grisham is my pastor. Dr. Brown said, well, is he going to talk to Theology? I said, no. This brother qualified. He comes out of down in Georgia. And down there he was an instructor in prison. And now we got here in Dayton, Ohio. He's an instructor down at Lebanon, right? Yeah. So he knows about what we're talking about. Hey, this is my man here. Officer Ramadan. I met this brother, and boy, I tell you, if we had everybody over there, this brother like this, we would have all our problems solved. Very excited that he's here today, and then Attorney Michael Davis. I know him. Yeah, buddy. He's some kind of attorney. And we're really excited to have him tonight because he's got a lot to say. But we're not going to be long because I got my timeline right there. But it's going to be important what we're going to talk about. You know, every year, 32 million people stop the police and traffic stops. 32 million. Think about it. 1% of the population in this country in a 12-month period we stop the police. Most of the time, everything goes okay. Then the other times, things don't. The purpose of us being here tonight is that we get information so that things will be okay. The police officer wants to go home, and the person being stopped would like to go on their way or go home. And if we get the information out to our constituents, if you can carry that information like Vice President Matthew White said, back to your friends, back to your loved ones, and tell them the information that you will hear tonight. So without further ado, I'm the kind of person who likes to get right into the mess. And we will let you ask if there's any questions. Just raise your hand, and I'll raise your hand today. If you got questions, we'll deal with that. All right? And I'm like, that's the teacher to me. Now, I'm gonna pose a question to our panelists to get this thing rolling. Police stop people, and they do it quite often. The problem is that most citizens know about the Fourth Amendment right, 14th Amendment right, but they don't know about court cases, which guides police in what they do. And so I will start off with this. Here in Dayton, Ohio, most of the traffic stops, or many of them, are stopped because of tinted windows. Okay? Let's talk about these tinted windows for a moment. Is that all right?
Yeah.
I not you necessarily, but your friends, stopping a lot of people attending.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. Most of them are there. Police, been on for 5 years now. Good question. The reason why a lot of us start because of Wilton, it is a violation, first of all. It's a major violation. At some point, if you say it could be or it could not, there has to be something behind it. You have to do something. Most of the time, people get stuck to window tint. Do I have window tint? Yes, sir. Do many of you guys have window tint? Yes, sir. You get stuck every time you leave the house? I'm sure not. So there's a reason why. Sometimes maybe you live in an area where something is known to take place. Maybe you have had a lot of complaints about maybe drugs being sold in the neighborhoods, guns complaints, high violent crime. So most of the time, if you see a vehicle and lives in the neighborhood that maybe assigned to patrol, police patrols in the area, and you see a vehicle that is heavily tinted, most of the time, some people have reason to tint their vehicle. Maybe they have eye issues, some other stuff. Other people tint their vehicles to hide secrets. They don't want to get caught by whatever it is that they're hiding, whatever it is that they're doing. So it's easy to tint the vehicles so that way if you're walking by, you're not able to see anything. If a regular person gets stopped and you don't have anything, maybe you just happen to be well it's not a certain area, and you get stopped at window tint, you get stopped, nothing's in the vehicle, or you happen to be a legit driver. It's your vehicle, you have insurance in the vehicle. Most of the time you're not, you just a warning. And it depends on how you present yourself. If you're not out there arguing, going back and forth, you just get a warning and go. If you get stopped in your suspended driver's license, you drive no insurance, and a whole lot more. Most of the time you're not in a citation. I would say if people get stopped and say, oh, it's just window tint. Look at everybody that's driving all over my window tints. With the window tints, can you stop them? No, I cannot. Personally, I can't stop everybody at the same time. There's a reason why I'm stopping you. People think, oh, you qualify me because of window tint, this and that. If I stop you, there must be a reason. It's not just around here looking for you. Maybe your car has been in the area. Maybe your car was said to be a car that was driving around the neighborhood. Or that kids come around. It's summertime now. People, kids go outside and play around the neighborhoods. And you just drive around like, 6 miles an hour. Not the way. Kids are, playing around, having fun. It's summertime, springtime. You just driving around without paying attention. Going on the roadway. So if it's a vehicle that was distracted for me and I see window tint, that's my I have reason to stop you because of that. So,
It's just having window to the traffic dollars.
can I stop you for that? Yes, I can.
Yes. So, yes.
Isn't there an allowed and legal tint? What is that?
Yes, 50 to 100.
50 to 100
Yes.
is legal.
Yes, you can't have that. Now, that's just the front windows. Your driver and passenger, front passenger. The back windows, they can be as tight as you want. Like the remote tint, if you want. It's the truth, so we're able to see the driver and the passenger when you drive by.
No, you say that an officer can stop one, if, I'm going to assume it would be with probable cause. But is that probable cause subjective? Or is there some?
The ticket window is the probable cause.
Okay, well, I'm going to get that.
Yeah,
all across the state of Ohio. I work for Montgomery County Public Defenders. I've been there 14 years. And how many people are knuckleheads all over the county? They do burnouts. They do crazy stuff. You know how many window tint stops I've seen outside the city of Dayton? I can probably count on one hand in 14 years. So it is being very disparate on when this window tint law is used. You see those people driving to Centerville with those nice cars and you can't see in the window. I guarantee they will never get stopped. So pretextual stop, like officer says, he's got reason to stop you. And I'm telling you, when the officers go up to the car, they don't start investigating that window tint. They have 10 readers to tell you how much light can get through. They are there. I mean, it leads to situations of harassment. I mean, if it was just the window tint, here's your ticket, let's go. But that's not what it is. It leads to they're trying to search the car. They're trying to get in the car. They're trying to see where you're going, what you're doing. So it's not a window tint stop. It's a stop for window tint, but it's not a window tint stop. And our Supreme Court has made a horrible decision in the past that allows pretextual stops. And what that means is they can find a reason to stop you, but the real reason is to find other stuff, do other things, find a way to get in your car, find a way to do things. It's a level of harassment, and it does only happen in certain areas of the county, which is all I've worked in my career.
Well, you want to tie in this, having just got my windows tinted. I'm sitting in Dayton, Ohio, and I told the guy, I said, I'm always leaving here. If you're going to tint my windows, tint them legal. And he said, well, this is what you got to have legal on the front, and you can do darker on the back, and on the back window. So I should have done a little better research, because I don't like being involved with police. To be honest with you, not like this, sitting right next to you, not getting stopped. And so I make sure I ask those questions, and I always do. And it's unfortunate, I think, because as Dr. Fox mentioned, there's million stops. And those who are doing shady stuff represent such a small percentage of our community. Such a small percentage that any car you see with 10 on it, you get stopped. And you can be stopped. And that's what's unfortunate. We can see the violence, obviously, being proactive in our policing. But I just, because of what the attorney just said, the 10 is not the reason for the stop. And so the percentage of people that are actually doing something wrong or could potentially be trying to hide something is very small. And unfortunately, hard-working, everyday people go through the trauma of traffic stops. And it can go from nowhere to everywhere in a few moments simply because you saw some tent. And we all have family members and friends who can't just be cool. They want to know why you stopped me. And they don't just say that to the police. They did it to Uncle Ray, they did it to Mama, Grandmama. You stop some people. They're law-abiding citizens. And, I'm upset that you stopped me for my tent, and I know my tent is legal. And so what happens at that point? Who should make the judgment at that point? I know I stopped you simply because you had a tent. And now that I'm in the business, your lights are good, your registration is good, your insurance is good, and all those necessary things, it's time for me to go home. But sometimes it don't go that way. And that's kind of the perspective that I always look at law enforcement from. I know it's a hard job to do, and the decisions that have to be made sometimes right there on the spot is difficult. I don't know if I want to make those decisions because me knowing myself, I'm always err on the side when we leave one another. You all right with me, And I think I don't think my friend would be here if Dr. Fox didn't believe that that's how he took it in the county with the citizens. So I have to readdress my tent. I just don't want to smoke. I just don't want to smoke. So I'm going to get it taken off my front windows. So I can say when I call the attorney, I didn't have any tent on my front
window tint. I mean, the book on traffic laws is like probably that. If they want to find a reason to pull you over, it doesn't matter if you have window tint or not. They want to find a reason to pull you over for that pretext stuff. I mean, we get a lot of cases thrown out where the Constitution is violated by police and they do things, but I'm telling you, I think the average person, they did a study once, violates a traffic law like every 10 feet. You know, it's crazy. So if we're going to find something, the window tint is an easy one, and it's used all the time in city dating. But there's many, many, many others that are just as basic that you don't know about even, but that it's going to happen.
Off the rundown, you make a joke of this. Person's pulled over, they stop. Typically, he gets back to the city. And the next thing you know, there is a back and forth between the officer and the person in the car. And the next thing you know, the person asks to get out of the car. All right? Can a police officer order a person out of a vehicle?
When it comes to back and forth, when we do a traffic stop, we want to approach the vehicle. Who's in the vehicle? Maybe somebody left the vehicle before wants to, maybe violent or have physical
That's
service.
not the question. The question is, can a police officer order a person out of a vehicle?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Can they? Yes.
And can you explain this to people? They need to know this. That's not my point. They need to know this.
So that's what I was trying to get to. For me, do I replace people out of the vehicle? I had to in the past. The reason why, maybe you're driving with no license. You are suspended, you're not supposed to be driving. It's like you, I ask you, do you have a driver's license? No. So at that point, I'm going to remove you from the vehicle. Give you a citation. Sometimes you're driving a vehicle that does not belong to you. It depends on how you are acting. I'm a human being too. Like, for instance, you say this is for window tint. I'm coming to the vehicle. I tell you, hey, roll the windows down so I can see inside the vehicle. See how many people are inside the vehicle. Maybe it's 4, 5 people in the vehicle. And you're not rolling the windows down so maybe you can see everybody in the vehicle. Like I said, I'm a human being. We're scared too. Who approach the vehicles. Nowadays, maybe 5 out of 10 vehicles that are driving around, they have firearms in it. Not everybody can carry a firearm. So if I approach a vehicle, I don't know who's in the vehicle. I don't know where they have got. So for me, when I approach the vehicle, I have to be able to see everybody in the vehicle. So if I come to the vehicle, I ask you nicely, hey, can you on the window down? If you do so when I'm able to see everybody's hands, then we're okay. But if you refuse, then I might ask you, hey, step out of the vehicle, then we go to my cruiser. You're not in trouble. I'm just gonna be able to, speak to you by yourself. So you can let everybody else in the car, let them be, because I don't know what's in the vehicle. I don't know, especially if you're not willing to do what I'm asking you to do, I'm gonna remove you from the vehicle. I don't know if you got the trouble. So, like I said, I'm a human being too. Now, can I remove you for other reasons? If you ask, acting like there's something in the vehicle, you're suspended, you have kids or firearms, you moving a lot, moving, your hands a lot, walking through the vehicles a lot. I'm going to remove you from the vehicle. It's myself. We all want to be able to go home at the end of the day. Outside of this uniform, I'm just like a human being with you guys. We're all the same. We're all the same. Sometimes I'll move you out of there for that reason. Now, if you cooperate with me, then I will put you without moving out of the vehicle. That's me.
Okay, can a police officer ask a passenger to get out?
For passenger, it depends on what the investigation is about. Once again, if they have dealt with that person before and they know them to have I've done certain things before, and if I know you have maybe a warrant or something, I can't just remove you from the vehicle without a reason. I have to have a reason. Even the driver, I have to have a reason for me to get removed.
You ever heard of Maryland versus Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. David, have you ever ran across issues like that, problems like that?
So I could say a lot about what you said about some things, but the easy answer is yes. That officer, for no reason, can remove you from the vehicle. Passenger driver on a valid traffic stop. If they ask you to get out the vehicle, you have to get out. It causes a lot of issues on the streets because you're trying to stick up. So I have a bunch of sheets up here about police interactions on how to handle yourself. But yes, if they ask you to get out, you gotta get out. And it is that.
Yeah, that's just that's it.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have to give me a reason, I can't.
You know, usually what it leads to, and he says, I'm trying not to be big. Usually what it leads to, he says cooperate, but even if you're just asserting your rights, if you start saying I'm not speaking, all right, get your butt out the vehicle. You have to. It escalates quickly. He don't need reasons. He tells you that, you gotta get out. And when you say no, that's when there's backup coming. That's when there's 3 cruisers coming. And that's when there's bad things happening. So yes, any reason if they ask you to get out, you gotta get out.
And what you stop for, you don't get a ticket for, but you go to jail for other stuff.
Yes. It could lead to things quickly.
Yes.
Okay. What I'm hearing, I'm not about anybody else, but all I'm hearing is their rights.
The
The police officer,
yeah.
that's all I'm hearing.
Yeah.
But where is there any rights for, the individual? One other thing is, do the police officers ever get any in-service on how to approach people, how to talk to people? Cause you're one of the good guys, cause it's the next. And then you turn on your cam, are you supposed to turn it on when you start getting out of the car?
Thank you. So as far as approaching the vehicles, how we do traffic stop, everything that we do is taught during the academy. 6 months of the academy, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, at 8 to 5 p.m. How do you talk to people? People talk to people differently. You can't teach, even here, you guys talk to people differently. I know you guys are adults, but you just talk to people differently. I know you say some of them are nasty, of course some people. Yes, everything, as soon as I activate my lights, this camera kicks on. It's a body worn camera. Everything is on. So any day, whenever you deal with me or somebody else, if you feel like you have been misspoken to, you can always request for a sergeant. He'll come out on scene. If you request for a sergeant during a traffic stop, he'll come out on scene. You can address whatever it is. Like you said, most of the time for me, if I don't have a reason to move, to take people out of the vehicle, I try not to because that will cause a mess. I try not to open that can of worms. Something can be avoided. So, yeah, if I move you out of the vehicle, it has to be a reason. So as far as us talking to people, everything is recorded. We get disciplined to it. So if especially nowadays, they're harsh on, people cussing, or if it's something that you feel like, hey, I don't like this, you bring it up. I have a sergeant, my sergeant has a sergeant, they have a boys. Yes, so there are steps to take. Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do understand. Whatever it is, yes. If you have received many complaints, they'll pull you to the side like, hey, we have to address this issue because it keeps coming back. So obviously, it's something that's going on, needs to be addressed. So they do address that, yes.
Right, so basically, when people are going to court for, whatever, when you said, the lawyer said that, you know, they can pretty much start with this, but end up with some other things. So, in order to clear your name, you almost have to have a lawyer.
Thank you. Typically, when I'm involved with conversations like this, I skip past what an officer can do and deal with you being in an encounter with police. Laws, everything you think we know, none of that matters. You get the right police, he want to get you out of that car, he want to have a conversation with you, he's going to do whatever he or she wants to do in that moment. And that's what we need to understand. They're going to, whatever, whether it's legal, lawful or not, they'll worry about all that later on. Whether or not you have a right to sit there as a passenger. And I want to get clarity on that because from the attorney, so is this just Ohio that for any reason you can get a passenger out of the vehicle, or do they have to have some probable cause? Or just stick with what I was just saying, they'll get you out of it.
They want you out of there.
Okay. Legally. So, legally. So that's no conversation or no argument. So what do we do? What do you do when you do that? I don't wait on the police officer to bring his body cam. I'm recording when he gets out of his car. And that's what you need to do. The moment those lights come on and you get safely parked, you take your life and that encounter into your own hands by beginning to record. Get a dash cam, body cam, whatever you need to get to make sure you're making sure that you have the evidence in your possession of what happened. That's where we are. Everybody's not coming. An officer, I'm sorry, I wanted to say the name right. Roundabout. It's one of the guys that's going to come and treat you fairly and be respectful. And then we have people in our community that don't even respect that. They're going to treat him harshly and push his buttons, and he go from where he normally is and it's something else. But it's not always the community. Sometimes it's the police. You get provoked from the moment they hit your door. So let's think of this, not what he can or should do. A lot of police are going to do whatever they want to do. And you're going to get out of that car, and it's all going to be escalated. You're going to say, step out of the car, man. And I don't even have to step out the car. Step out the car, man. And all of the time, he's counting. At some point, he's going to say, I've said 7 times, step out of the car. And that's what's going to come up in the court document. And that's what the jury's going to see. That he gave you 7 opportunities to get out of the car. So we don't fight that fight no more. First time, I'm getting out of the car because I'm taking that power from you because I know what you want to do. He's counting every time you say it. And it'll just be multiple times that I ask you. You step out of the car. Like multiple times. So your power is make sure you record it. Don't put a phone in your hand, get a body cam of your own. I got about 3 or 4. Some this big. I got one up here. And record for yourself. And you can ask the question, officer, did you make sure you turn your body cam on? Be as polite. Because if you record, you're talking to the jury. You're talking to the jury. You're not talking to this officer. You're talking to the jury. The people who are going to sit there and watch how you behave and watch how that police officer behaves. So one thing you take from him or her right away is, I forgot to turn my body cam on. Well, you couldn't have forgot because Ms. Odom asked you as soon as you approach the car, can you make sure your body cam is on?
Why can't you use your cell phone?
You can use your cell phone, but you got something in your hand, it can be misconstrued as a weapon, or you can hit me with your phone. So get a body cam, get something you can put on your body. And talk to the jury, the whole conversation. Don't give the officer any flack. Get out of the car. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Pastor, I appreciate that because, we never brought it up, but I'm sure somebody's thinking, like I am. I good for that individual and the family connections they have.
And that's why it's important for us to know what an officer can do legally and what he can't do legally, right? When I'm in a traffic situation, I just see him as the one in control, right? But I know what I'm doing to protect myself. I'm asking questions politely, and I know who I'm talking to, the jury. And unfortunately, everybody's not going to have the money to, pay $5,000 to get an attorney. And then, especially if you come in with nothing but your word against the police officer's word. And a lot of attorneys don't even want to deal with situations like that. They don't want to deal with going up against cops. This is serious. They don't want to deal with it. The same stuff that come down on you, on us, will come down on a fellow officer who goes against the system. That's how serious it is. So you got to know that he said, I need you to step out the car, you start your count. All he going to tell the sergeant, I asked him multiple times to get out, the tag was expired, and movement was going on. Whatever the narrative is, it's acceptable. So you got to protect yourself. You got to protect yourself. Some folks going to get fired up about you having a camera or things like that. They're going to get fired up about it. But you have to understand this is about your freedom, your safety, and whether or not a lawyer can take your case. Now, if you got footage of footage, most of the cases we see, the real good ones, we've seen them on the news because somebody reported. Somebody across the street was reported. Then the attorney was like, hey, this is simple, baby. We can get this one. We can work with this because I got something to work with. But you just coming in and you curse me out and grab me and put me in a headlock for 8 minutes and I couldn't breathe. And none of that is going to weigh anything if you cannot prove that. Record, ask questions politely and respectfully. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Fact or fiction? Is it true that you can be arrested or recorded with your phone?
I'll let the attorney answer that.
No, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm with the James, so I'll try to say that. Georgia, you can report. Other places, but so.
I was waiting for the but. There's always buts. No, but if they want to find something. And I just wanted to go back. We do have rights too. She asked a question about rights. I mean, the only thing you really have to do in a traffic stop by law is if they ask for your identification. Yeah, you can pass all this. If they ask for your identification as the driver, you have to get it. I'm not getting into the passenger thing. You don't have to unless you're committing a crime like no seatbelt or something. But that's going to be escalation quickly. Very quickly. And then but if they ask you to get out the car, you get out the car. But you have the right to not talk. You have the right to keep your mouth shut, and I recommend that 100% of the time. 100% of the time, don't talk. You also have the right to not consent to searches. So don't consent to your pat-downs. I'm telling you, a lot of cops want to grab you out as a matter of course and do it anyways. You have the right to refuse searches. They're going to do it anyways. You can't fight them. You're not going to win an argument on the streets with a cop about the law. When they're wrong, you got to stay respectful. Assert your rights. I'm not talking. I'm not consenting to searches. You got to leave it at that. If they find a way to do it, which a lot of them try, there are good lawyers. I love fighting. I get paid to argue with cops, prosecutors, and judges every day of my life. And something about Officer Ramadan, I've heard his name, but I've not seen him before, which is probably a good thing. Because I go after the same cops day after day after day that you guys are seeing. And it is, around daily level of escalation at the beginning of some cops is pretty embarrassing that you don't see anywhere else. And I know we'll probably get into it. I brought up the Reverend Fox earlier. The gun issue. Should I wait on this? The guns are illegal. When you possess guns, they are illegal. If you're 21 and over, ordinance, it should have been just, they messed, this law is crazy that they put through, this open carry law. It should have been, you either can have a gun or you can't have a gun on disability, easy. But there's like 57, something crazy, exceptions to that. So now you're either a qualified individual or you're not. And you guys are not going to know that on the streets, you know what I'm saying? So, but how they're enforcing and going after this gun thing, what Dayton police are doing these days is horrible. What they're doing is, and I'm telling you, I grew up in Walton, Canada. You know, everybody has guns up there. You walk in, if you need ammo, you walk in Walmart with a gun on your shoulder, and nobody cares. And I moved to Dayton, and I was like, why the hell are they attacking people? Because they're just having guns down here. And you see these Facebook posts, like, of people, like, standing up with guns and shotguns and hunting. But I'm telling you, in my cases, if prosecutors find out, and it happens all the time, like that young black gentleman with the money and the gun on it, like there's something bad, trying to bring it up to the judge, I'm like, get that crap out of here, you know? But what they're doing in Dayton is they're sitting at gas stations, undercover, talking about like a stolen car task force stuff. But for some reason, they always go after cars that aren't stolen. It's cars full of young, black and brown, pretty young people. And they go at them. They stop them for whatever, whether it's window tint, whether it's something else, and it has escalated from the get-go. And it has been, being high. I've seen some, they have guns out immediately because they see somebody with a gun on their head walking in a gas station back. That is not illegal, but how they're treating these people with guns is just absurd to me because they're not doing that anywhere else in this county except on the west side of Dayton and Harrison Township. And how do they think these people are going to react when they're going at them like that? I'm telling you, like 4 cruisers deep from the get-go for a window tint violation. So I looked at some stats in my office right now. This last year, 2023, everybody has guns. Everybody, outside of Dayton too. Centerville, everybody has guns. And I live down in Centerville. The number of people in my office that are charged with the improper handling of CCW, which is like not a crime unless you're not a qualified individual. The number of charges for African Americans in my office for the year 2023 was 120. The number of white people was 20 for the year of 2023. And I guarantee there are just as many, or if not more, but they're automatically treating everybody in the city of Dayton as a criminal because they have a gun. And just like everybody said, the number of bad people, it's a very small percentage. And when you're treating a whole area of the city as criminals, especially when you see on TV everybody loves guns, but when you can't have them, and it blows my mind how just the harassment and the going after them. And these are only the ones that we see. Just think of the people they search and they don't find guns. They still have to go through the same traumatic treatment down there. And I've been screaming this. It's been going on for about a year and a half. We've got to get Dayton police to stop doing this. It is going to lead to something bad. Because when you have cops coming at you immediately ripping you off the cars, and you have them trying to search your car, and they're pulling you out, just to be patted down, everybody thinks that's a matter of course. Imagine just being a young 18-year-old, and every time you get stopped, the first thing that happens is they're putting their hands all over you, they're being mean to you, they're throwing you back in the cruiser, sometimes throwing handcuffs on you, finding a way to search you every time, and be like, oh, we didn't find anything, you're good to go. That is crazy to me. If they treated the youth of Centerville like this, these cops would be fired. The way that people cross the street here in jaywalking, they would be fired in Centerville if they treated people like this. They fired an officer in Yellow Springs a few years ago for doing this. And I don't know why nobody wants to have public defenders. I'm telling you, most of our officers are amazing, and we're really in the trenches trying to fight the fight. And I went to meetings, for political meetings, screaming about this. I went to City Hall screaming about this. The police chief knows I don't know the policy that obviously it's a task force, so they're being told to sit at these gas stations on the west side undercover, stop people. I don't know if it's policy on how they act towards them. It happens nowhere else, and it's going to lead to something bad for our young kids around here. And not only guns, if they tell you you're not getting out the car, people don't know the rights. If they say get out the car and you don't get out, that's an obstruction charge right there. They have a right to arrest you, rip you out, search your car, search everything, just because you think it's your right to do that. So I don't know what the policy is going on in Dayton this last year and a half, but I'm telling you, as a community, I feel horrible. You said you have to have a conversation to kids so they don't get killed by the police. That is insane to me. That has to be said. I understand why though, because I see it all the time. But we have to come together. Kids in this community are not criminals. And they can't be all soon to be criminals because there's some people do bad things. Yes, sorry. Sorry, I'm on the line.
So let's make it clear. I don't know if that's true. So, my question, so what can we, as a activist, civil rights, individuals, NAACP, this is great to have a conversation. But as you see, everybody here is very moral.
Yeah.
This is not the target.
Yeah.
The target are these young guys who, when I told I know 10, I don't see it including myself. So what do we do to correct this? Because we can do the victim over, but what's the corrective action? What can NAACP do?
I think the first thing, I'm sorry, are you done? Okay. So I think the first thing is there are many groups that are seeing this and wanting to write the right thing. On this issue, I know we have this criminal or the police reform thing that just won't at the end, like nothing happened with it. But we've got to keep the conversation out there and we've got to be loud. For one, the city manager used to be a public defender. If we start going at her and saying, she hires the police chief, right? Am I wrong on that? She brings the police chief in. The police chief has to know. The prosecutor has discretion to not accept these charges. When he's just possession of guns, it's because they end up not being a qualified individual. They have the ability to stop charging people for that. Stop accepting it. Tell the cops. The more the merrier. And just like with somebody scream voting, I think voting is the best word. But the more we've got to get more people together and get loud. We've got to let City Hall know. We've got to let the police chief know. This is not okay. How people are being treated in the city of Dayton. Just because of, and they always do another guys with high crime, high stuff, and all that. I'm telling you, if you stop people in Centerville, all these young 18-year-olds that are knuckleheads also, you're going to find guns, you're going to find drugs, but when they get stopped, there's not protection that they're going to get in your car. So there's not, they will find the drugs and guns if the same thing treatment is there. So we just got to, there's many groups wanting this to stop. The public defender's office have been screaming it for a while. I'm sure there's police officers that want to stop, just seeing their comrades doing this. The police chief has to see. There's task forces in place. They have to stop the policies. But one voice ain't enough. If we get together, there has to be a way. There has to be.
I think that's the key. Is getting together. We have enough people, and we don't have to agree on everything that we want to do in Dayton. But we have to come together, every church, every organization, everybody who cares about the people and our children. We have got to come together and go talk to as a unified body, whoever we need to talk to. And you start making demands. We can't send 12 NAACP members down. We can't. We have all got to go. And we got to get out of this box as long as it ain't my time. Because your good kid can get caught up in this bad situation that we're all dealing with. So we have got to come together. Every pastor. The next time something like this happens, it needs to be filled to the rafters. To the rafters. And we need to invite the mayor, the police chief. And we need to be together. We don't want to smile and come by out. We got respect for you. We got respect for your authority. And everybody here more than likely to teach our young people. Abide by the law. Do the right things. Go to school. And if that's what we're teaching our children, I need you to teach the police the same thing. Do the right thing. Respect the community. And if we get together, there's no question about it. There's absolutely no question about it. If we all get together and say, this has to stop, it has to change. It will change. So getting together is amazing. We got preachers that don't want to link up with other preachers. If we do, I got to be the head of it. I got to be the fight. My name is Alvin Brooks. We've been here. I guess all of that sitting over at that Shell filling station on Main Street and follow someone from Main Street all the way over to Hillcrest in Gettysburg and pull the man over in front of his house. And the man gets out of the car and they go and take the man out of his yard and arrest him. He had done nothing. That's what's going on in it. It's a whole bunch going on in the city. And the reason why I share this with you in terms of what police can do is because I got to deal with young people all the time too. They got this spirit in them that they can do what they want to do. They've been watching YouTube and YouTube is telling them they don't have to do this, they don't have to do that. Yes, they do. Let me tell y'all something. I've been 40 years in law enforcement. I haven't seen it all. You can be dead wrong and dead right. Okay? And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, the only person or people in this country that has a right to kill you is police. Never forget that. Now, y'all might say, well, yes, it does. They have that right. The only ones that can do it. Legally. And the only thing police have to do is articulate why they are doing what they do. All they say is objectively reasonable.
I felt threatened.
What an objectively reasonable person would do. So I'm glad everybody came out tonight, and we're going to give each one of our panelists a few minutes to give a closing. And Dr. Brown is asking the question, where do we go from here? Seriously, where do we go from here? Goes back to what Vice President Maddie said. Each one reach one. Because I'm telling you, oh God, it's you know, I almost get tears for some of the stuff I have to see and deal with. Me and President Ford were dealing with a situation earlier last month. A lady sitting in the hospital. Her leg is fractured. She's upset because nobody's helping her. She's got a cast on. She gets up, she walks out of the building, and here comes the hospital police. They follow her. Next thing you know, they tackle her, knock her down to the ground, and take her to jail. And you know what? They found in the favor of her. I mean, not her, but in the favor of the police. Y'all, what's going on here is crazy. Let me tell y'all something. Like I told you, I spent 40 years on the I was a police chief for 30 years. I'm scared of the police.
Once again, let me just commend Dr. Fox and the NAACP for having this conversation. Again, I think my brother said it earlier, we're not hearing anything that we haven't already heard and that we don't already know. And so I think our job in this moment is to figure something else out. We know what the problem is. We know what the problem is. We know what needs to be done. The question is, are we going to do it? Are we going to come together? Are we going to stand as one voice? Because it's the only voice that systems hear. It's the only voice that systems hear. And so, as long as it's not my side, I don't even go to the It's not my son. It's not my son. The only time we have seen any traction on these issues is when people get out and be seen. When they see numbers and crowds. When they see numbers and crowds and unrest. How about we get organized right now? How about we take it back and start with the church? And say that the next meeting is the meeting to unite us all on the issue of how policing is being done in the city of David. I know that your name ain't on the list and you ain't the number one. Do it for me. We all need to be in on this and be proactive. And we're not asking for anything that we don't deserve. We're asking to give our children a chance. Don't make them the enemy of law enforcement at 13. We get together, organize, and set our goals as to what we want to see done in terms of policing in the city of David. And we hold fast and stand strong. Something will be done. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee. That's a guarantee.
Thanks for everybody. Thanks for everybody for your time. I have a lot to say. I could say all night. I could see this past all night. But, if time and God continue to bless us, we'll just see. There's a lot to talk about, a lot to discuss about. But main thing, we have to be safe. Stay safe, stay positive. Like I said, we're all human beings. If we see here and say, hey, do this when this happened, do this when this happened. It's a lot of scenarios out there. We can't, what if this, all day, could be all day, all night again. Alright? Things, it's daily. You guys, I'm sure most of you guys were born and live here all your entire life. The difference between here and Centerville, between here, Oakwood, between here, Fairborn. Of course, Dayton is a high crime area. I had to say that, but if you compare to everybody else here around here, if something big happened in Centerville, it's going to be on the news. If a double homicide happened in Dayton, some of you guys don't even know about it. Could be a simple car accident in Centerville. Everybody's going to know about it because it's not a lot going on. It could be something happening next block from you. You won't even know until you see a whole bunch of lights. Some won't even make it on the news. Until when maybe somebody puts it on Facebook, somebody tell you the next day, hey, you such and such, this happened. I didn't know. So, a lot of things happen in Dayton. Some which you never get to know, some of which you know about. Some people just say it's just Dayton. And it's the city that we live in. It's the city that we live in. I could say a lot about, I'm not gonna hold you guys too long. Like you were saying, like I said, there has been increased patrols in the area. I don't know if you guys heard about the Kia boys. Ever since then, it's been a whole bunch going on. Sure, some of you guys wake up, I don't know how many own Kia here or Hyundai. Sometimes you wake up, your car's not there. Sometimes you wake up, your neighbor's car is gone, nothing but broken glasses. And some of these people that are doing it is 14, 15, 13, even 12-year-olds. Take them to JJC, they're back the next day, even 4 hours. That's how long they hold them for. And some of these kids are the ones that are carrying firearms. Some of these kids are the ones that are in gangs. Some of these kids are the ones that are at not even high school level yet. That's the middle school. The local middle schools. We get calls about kids bringing guns at school. School fights. Now people don't fight, they shoot. It's like the old school where people used to fist fight, you get it over with, you get back kicked, you go home. Now you get your back kicked, guess what? I'm bringing my friend. My friend got a Glock. My friend got a Draco. If I don't see you, I'll go to your mom's house. I'll shoot it up. This is what we're doing today. This is going on as we speak. Some people are even afraid to go home and talk. Some people can even control their own kids because of what? Of who they are associated with. Of what's going on. Stay safe. I know, well, as far as know our rights, I don't even know all my rights. I'm a police officer, for you, like he was saying, if you've been asked to do something, just do it simply, just do it. And at the same time, like I said, I have a boss, my boss has a boss. It goes on all the way up to the chief. Even the chief has some people that controls him. So if I do something to you, try not to make a big sin on sin. Try to prevent some things from happening. I can't just get in your car unless I have a reason. I can't just, if you say, hey, I'll ask you for a search your vehicle, hey, can I get in your vehicle? If you say no, no. If I have reason to believe that you're hiding something, and I wish, like they said, this is not the cloud who needs to preach truth. The ones that needs to be talked to are not even here. They're the ones that are running the street. I hope some of you guys are going to take this message and relate to everybody else. Because, as I can see, I haven't dealt with anybody else here, other than seeing the faces, and everybody, some people here, of course, but it's good to talk to you guys. I go to meetings all the time. It's good to have the meetings in the community. But the crowd that's more needed is not there. And of course, they don't care about us. Those are the ones that are running it and gunning it, running the streets. They don't care about law, they don't care about anything.
Can we count on you to talk to your brothers that are harassing the kids too?
What is the name?
Can we count on you to talk to your brothers?
Yeah, as far as talking to everybody, yeah, the city has
Are
been.
not doing what you do. Can we count on you? Like we're spreading the word to our kids, even the knuckleheads that you keep bringing up.
Mhm.
But can we count on you to talk to your knuckleheads?
Yeah, the thing,
Right to kill.
We are down about to the last 3 minutes, and they have to lock this building up. So we can get closing remarks from him, from the attorney, and then I want to say a few words, and we're going to wrap up. So,
My name is again Mike Daly. I'm from the Public Defenders. Our public defenders are here. We will answer questions. We are traveling. I'm going to high schools next week. We're trying to spread the word. Okay, just about your rights. I understand there's crime. I understand that there's responsibility not to treat everyone like a criminal, and that's what I was saying. That needs to stop. There's ways to handle things. So we'll do it.
Okay, so first I want to show some appreciation to Reverend Dr. David I. Fox, the chairman of our Criminal Justice Committee, for putting together this panel. And then I'd like to thank the panelists for giving your wise counsel and your input from your respective lids and from your respective vantage point. And one thing I want to say is for the Public Defender's Office, I want to make sure that you and I have contact numbers for one another, and we will definitely have that continual conversation regarding what you're saying, because I'm a person who deal with facts, not fiction. Like our secretary was asking a little ago, if this is fact or fiction, I deal with facts, not fiction. And one thing I know that the NAACP has been on for a very long time, we implemented an 8-point strategy on criminal justice reform and police accountability. And when the NAACP speaks, the people listen. And when I say the people, I'm talking about the people who understand about politics, people who understand, who are making decisions. Our 8-point strategy on criminal justice reform and police accountability was accepted by about 25 of the 30 law enforcement agencies in this county. Meaning they have body cams now. Meaning that they're bringing, making sure they're having healthcare professionals riding inside their vehicles with them if they're going on a call. And this is before you've seen what the city of Dayton did with their 5-point strategy and dealing with, it's a new department that they have. I can't think of the name of the department. Whereas they, instead of sending the police out there, send someone else out for media response team. Oh, okay, you're quite right. So that's part of what we did in our 8-point strategy. So let's be clear on that. So our 8-point strategy came at the heels of the death of George Floyd. And for us to be able to get the buy-in of these law enforcement agencies across this county was a big deal. And we did it because we go with a great deal of integrity. And when I'm talking about integrity, what I'm talking about is not just going out here blaming police for anything, but also holding ourselves accountable. And I'm going to tell you something. Not only do we have that case that came in to Fox last week, or actually that one was last month, but the one last week, I asked the person, the mother brought the kid in, the kid, I'm going to give you the situation. The kid took their mother's car, the mother called it in, and what ultimately happened? The police are now looking for the vehicle, the police finds the vehicle, and now there's an encounter. But the mother brought the child in now because of the encounter. But you're the one who called the police because your car was taken by your child. So these are the situations that the NAACP find ourselves in. Dealing with those kinds of situations. And I asked that child. I said, I looked at the child, explained, because there was something that should not have happened. Did we ever get the videotape on that yet? Okay. All right. So we're waiting on some video footage because there's something that's very concerning to us in the encounter that we will deal with the police department with, should what we find in the video is true of what this person has stated. And that's why I'm saying we deal with facts, not fiction. So, but one thing we do know is I did ask this person. I said, young lady, how old are you? She said, I think she said 14. I said, wow, took your mother's car, 14 years old, don't even have, I'm thinking this to myself, I'm not saying this to her because she's our client. Coming out of Columbus, drove all the way down the highway to Dayton. 14. Then I asked her, I said, ma'am, we're going to be here because what you said to us, is one piece of what you said should not have happened if it truly occurred. And we're going to deal with it. But tell me, young lady, what could have been done differently in this particular situation that would have resolved all of this? She didn't say what I really want to hear, but she did say something important to me. She said, if I had cooperated with them. And that's so true because the last few videos that I have seen at our office, and I watched the way that we talk back to the law enforcement and think it's going to end well. It's not going to end well. So we need to pull our bootstraps up. We're going to deal with the things, I'm putting the NAACP, we're going to deal with the things when they are in the wrong, period. We've done it for 18 years. I've been holding this position. And we're going to continue to do it. But we need to make certain that we have accountability as well. My father was a law enforcement officer. I was that kid sitting up in the window wondering if my father was going to come home at night. I was wondering if my father was going to have to pull his firearm out. I was wondering if my father is going to get shot in the line of duty. So what I'm telling you is we will hold and will continue to hold and have held the police departments accountable in this county. We meet. All Fox got to do is pick up the phone and he has a direct line to the chief. He has a direct line to the assistant chief. So if there's an issue that comes in the office, he can deal with them quickly, swiftly, swiftly and handle the situation. So don't get it twisted. But we got to make sure that we're in the right with what we're doing. And the question was asked, what can we do? What we're doing right now, we're bringing it up in front of you. And yes, is it true that the people who are probably, who needs to hear this is not here? Absolutely, that's true too. But what we're going to do, what we will do is we will hold another one of these forums. We don't have to be in this session, but we will do a Facebook Live. We do a Facebook Live via Zoom because I think it's that important to get this message out here. So these same panelists right here, we can open up a Zoom account. Well, we already got a Zoom account, but we can do the same thing via Zoom so more people can hear. I love my young black brothers and sisters. But our young black brothers and sisters also need to be respected. And the law enforcement also needs to be respected. And that's what's so good about what I heard up here about the body cams. And that's why we fought to get body cams inside this county. And it's done. It's a done deal because of the NAACP. Make no mistake about it. Because of the NAACP's advocacy. So make no mistake about it. About influence. So we have to make sure that what we do is our part. Let's do our part. I'm glad these young folks are here tonight. Reverend Shepherd told me that she's been around speaking to a couple of young folks, and they said they appreciate this conversation tonight. I don't know who all said that, but she said they have. Raise your hand if you're one of the young folks that she spoke with. Right here. Right there. So I'm glad you all are here this evening. That you can share this message with your colleagues, your friends, your peers. Because it's important. We need for you to be alive. And not dead at the hands of law enforcement. Not dead at the hands of your own friends neither. So, I better slow it down because I can get real hype when I'm talking about this particular message, this particular subject matter. Because our kids deserve a chance, but our kids also have to understand respect. So, with that, next month, in the same room, going to go back to what the pastor was talking about. We have a committee called Community Coordination. And that's the organization, that's the committee that brings community organizations together. So, Pastor, we have that already intact. As a matter of fact, they just had a meeting last week. Community organizations. Yes, sir. So, we need to make certain that these community organizations, and it's exactly what you said, forget about the things we don't agree upon, because we may never agree on some things. Let's focus on the things we can agree on as a community. And let it work for the betterment of the community. So next month it's going to be on community coordination. I don't know the topic. I don't know what her topics will be, who her parents is going to be. But you should be here. Because it's about community. It's coming from the Community Coordination Committee. 6 o'clock p.m. And it's not the fourth Monday, because the fourth Monday of next month, I believe, is Memorial Day. So it'll be on that Tuesday. So with that, until the next time, may God bless you, may God bless the NAACP, and may God bless these United States of America. Take care, everybody. Thank you very much.